Hi, I'm Dr. G, and I'd like to talk to you today about one of my favorite topics, rejection. We treat rejection in our lives like it's kryptonite, in our professional, personal, but especially in our romantic lives. This horrible, painful little thing that crushes our insides. When it comes to dating and relationships, we treat rejection like it says something about us, that we're less attractive, less cool, less desirable, and it makes us feel bad, at times just plain horrible about ourselves. We also treat rejection like a mistake, like something has gone wrong in our experience. Either we did something that caused a rejection, or we believe that somebody else treated us unfairly, so they must have made a mistake. If we could only figure out what that mistake was and fix it or avoid it, then we won't have to face rejection again, right? It's like things that you can find online that'll advertise like the 5 things you can do to never be rejected ever again. Like they're gonna suddenly teach you the Konami code for relationships, the secret sauce to never facing rejection ever again. Now, there's of course a lot of room for self-improvement for sure, but if every time you get rejected, you treat it as a failure, then you can't really learn the difference between what you need to improve on and what can just be a matter of not a good fit. But to be clear, self-improvement won't spare you from rejection. Rejection doesn't care about how much money you make or how tall or short you are or how good looking. Rejection comes for everyone, even some of the time. We respond to it like there's a bug in the system, a bug in the game of dating and relationships. But it's not a bug, it's a feature. And the more we come to terms with that fact, paradoxically, the easier it gets to cope with it and find more success in relationships. Now, what do I mean by that? If we think about it mathematically, there are billions of people on the planet, hundreds of millions of people here in the US, millions of people in a large metropolitan area like New York City. It would be unreasonable to expect that every person we come across or approach are gonna like us. By the same token, it's also kind of unreasonable to think that in the millions of people that exist all around us, that there wouldn't be at least some people who would find us attractive and appealing. There's just too many people, too many possibilities to not find someone who can be a good fit for us. Now, you can't find people who are the right fit for you if you don't put skin in the game, if you don't pay the price of admission. And that price is rejection. Rejection is part of the game of dating, and you have to pay to play. Rejection is about putting ourselves out there and risking somebody saying no or potentially saying yes. Rejection doesn't necessarily mean there's something wrong with you, but it is a form of information, and I think primarily that the person you approach, dated, what have you, may not be the best fit for you. And why would you want to date or be with someone who isn't right for you? From my point of view, you should reject as many people as humanly possible, and other people, as many as possible, should reject you. If you can set to the side all the people who aren't a good fit for you, you can start sifting through all the noise to find those people with whom you would want to make a connection with, the people that you click with. Now, a few more words on self-improvement, just to be clear. Self-improvement is good. Going to the gym, being involved in cool activities, learning a skill, these are all good things. Whatever you do to yourself, though, it won't change somebody else just not that being into you. It just won't. It also won't change somebody who isn't a good fit for you into somebody who is. No amount of muscles, money, skills, or looks is going to make a square peg fit into a round hole. Similarly, if your thing is getting together with friends and playing Cards Against Humanity, and the other person you're interested in is like, what the hell is this? Like, this is so dumb, this is so stupid, maybe not the best fit for you. Or if your thing is going out to a bar or a club and dancing the night away, and the person you like just doesn't, maybe even gets insecure about you going out and living your life, not the best fit. Square peg, round hole. Looks or money can't force a fit for the human heart, unless you're filthy rich and invest all your money into genetic research aimed at creating the ideal human with a large round-shaped hole in their heart to fill with your perfectly sized square peg. I concede your point. except now you're not just a rich person, you're probably Lex Luthor or some other eccentric billionaire supervillain. Now I know people might misinterpret this, so just to be clear, I don't mean reject everyone who doesn't fit some unreasonable standard that you may have. I don't mean don't put any energy into self-improvement. What I am saying is that if you accept the reality of rejection, you can use that reality for your own well-being. That acceptance actually makes self-improvement easier and ultimately more effective. If you start with, I have to figure out what I did wrong so I can change it, or I'm so bad or unlovable, I have to change myself, etc., you're likely going to feel shitty. And fun fact about making any kind of change, if you do it out of shame, it makes change really hard. You need to have a bit of acceptance in order to make formative changes. So if you're someone who struggles with rejection in relationships, I'm going to mention just 3 simple tools you can use to start coping with rejection now. That way, rejection can stop overwhelming you and start being an opportunity for you to learn so you can take more risks. Okay, so number 1, don't take it personal. If somebody didn't respond to your message on OkCupid or rebuffed your advance at a bar or what have you, it doesn't mean that you're bad. There's a multitude of things that go through a person's mind when they decide not to engage. And often many of them have nothing to do with you. So don't take it personal. Number 2, make a graceful exit. Sometimes when we get rejected, we get mad. We think about what an asshole that person was or how wrong they were to reject you. You'll have all these negative thoughts toward them, but unless you have telepathic powers, all of those thoughts and feelings are going to stay inside you and fester. It'll become toxic. And for some of us, when we get stuck in our own heads fighting with that person, having all sorts of arguments as to why they should give you a chance, this doesn't really help you move forward. For some of us, this might even lead to a protest in which we ask why we're being rejected, or actually literally argue with that person as to why we're being rejected to begin with. Sometimes asking for feedback is good, but sometimes it reveals and reinforces an insecurity that you have. Just because we press someone for an answer doesn't mean we'll get an accurate one. They may just want you to go away and feel the need to come up with something in order to assuage you. It might be more important for you to just make a graceful exit, not fighting with the other person, not fighting with them in your mind or blaming them, but really letting go and moving on. The less energy you spend fighting rejection in your mind, the more energy you can free up to do other things, including pursue other people or self-improvement. Number 3, try and try again. When we fear something, we often avoid it so we don't have to feel that pain. But then when it happens, it's catastrophic and overwhelming, right? What we don't realize is that if we face that thing over and over again, we actually get less scared of it. We desensitize ourselves to it, so over time, it's less and less anxiety provoking. So too with rejection. The more you avoid it, the bigger it's going to be in your mind. But the more you face it, the more times you experience it without berating yourself or the other person, the more you accept it, the easier it'll be for you to get out there. And the more you take risks and get out there, the more likely it is to find people that you would want to connect with. So that's it for me for today. I hope this information was helpful to you. And if so, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell for more videos and content. This is again Dr. G, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks.